Ever walked into your living room to find your favorite shoes chewed up, only to be met with those big, guilty puppy eyes? But here's the twist. Is your dog really saying, "I'm sorry"? Or is there something else behind that look? Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It means the world to us and helps us bring you more fun, dog-loving content. Stick around, because not only will we uncover 12 secret signs your dog uses to apologize, but we'll also reveal a bonus tip at the end on how you should respond to your dog's apology to strengthen your bond. Okay, picture this. You come home to find your trash can looking like it just lost a fight with a raccoon. You turn to your dog and bam, there it is. The head is down, the eyes are darting around, maybe they're even trying to hide behind the furniture. Classic guilty look, right? So while that guilty look is super convincing, seriously, how do they do it? It might not actually be an admission of guilt. It's more like them saying, "Whoa, things just got real and I'm not sure what I did, but I'm pretty sure I don't like it." But hey, even if it's not true blue guilt, it's still pretty darn cute, am I right? Alright, so we've talked about the guilty look, but there's a whole other level of canine communication happening with their body language. And trust me, your dog is speaking volumes even if they never make a peep. First up, the tucked tail. We all know a wagging tail means happy, but when that tail goes between the legs, that's your dog's way of saying, "I'm not feeling so confident right now." It's basically the canine equivalent of putting your hands up in surrender. Next, those adorable floppy ears. When your dog flattens their ears against their head, it's another sign of submission. They're trying to make themselves look smaller and less threatening, like they're saying, "I come in peace, please don't yell." And let's not forget the classic submissive grin. You know the one. Lips pulled back slightly, maybe a little panting, but their eyes are wide and pleading. It's like they're trying to smile their way out of trouble, and honestly, it usually works, right? These subtle body language cues are your dog's way of de-escalating the situation and letting you know they're not looking for a fight. They just want their best friend back. Okay, this next sign is hands down one of the cutest things I've ever seen, and it's a dead giveaway that your dog is trying to make amends. I call it the apology bow, and it's basically like a play bow, but with a little extra something something. You know the play bow, right? Front end down, butt in the air, like they're ready to spring into action. Well, the apology bow is similar, but instead of that playful energy, it's more subdued. They might lower their front end, keeping their rear end slightly raised, but their tail will probably be tucked or wagging slowly. It's like they're saying, "Look, I know I messed up and I'm not proud of it. Can we just forget this whole thing ever happened and go back to cuddling on the couch?" And honestly, who can resist that? It's like they've mastered the art of canine diplomacy, and I'm here for it. Sign number 4, gifts and toys. The canine olive branch. Okay, this next sign is just pure gold. Have you ever noticed that after your dog does something wrong, they suddenly become the most generous creature on the planet? Like, they're showering you with their favorite toys, bringing you their most prized bone, or maybe even dropping a slobbery tennis ball at your feet. It's like they raided their toy bin and picked out the absolute best thing they own just for you. And you know what? It's totally their way of saying, "I'm sorry, please don't be mad. Here, have my favorite thing in the world." And let's be real, it's hard to stay mad when you've got a furry little gift giver staring up at you with those big, hopeful eyes. It's like they know the way to our hearts is through a mountain of squeaky toys and well-chewed tennis balls. Number 5, the belly expose, ultimate trust fall. Alright, this next sign is all about vulnerability and trust. When your dog rolls over onto their back, exposing their belly, it's a huge sign of submission and trust. They're basically saying, "I trust you with my life, even when I know I messed up." Now I know what you're thinking, but Jenna, my dog rolls over for belly rubs all the time. How do I know if it's an apology, or if they just want some good scratching? And you're right, dogs do love a good belly rub. But there's a difference between a playful belly roll and an "I'm sorry" belly roll. Look for those other telltale signs, the tucked tail, the submissive grin, maybe even a little whine. When you see those signs paired with the belly expose, you know your dog is trying to tell you they messed up and they're hoping you can forgive them. And honestly, how can you resist that adorable furry belly? I mean, I'm not made of stone. If you're curious about dog communication, subscribe for more surprising insights into their behavior. Number 6, clingy behavior. Don't leave me hanging. Okay, let's talk about clingy dogs for a sec. You know the type. They're basically your shadow, following you from room to room, nuzzling your hand for attention, maybe even trying to climb into your lap, even if you're on the toilet, no shame. Now some dogs are just naturally more affectionate than others, but if your dog suddenly turns into Velcro dog after a mishap, it could be their way of saying, "I'm sorry, please don't be mad, I need your love." They're seeking reassurance and forgiveness through physical touch, and honestly, it's kind of adorable. It's like they're saying, I know I messed up, but please don't banish me from your presence. I just want to be near you. Whining and gentle barks, the sounds of remorse. Okay, so we've covered body language, but what about those canine vocal cords? Can dogs actually sound sorry? Well, believe it or not, they totally can. While dogs can't exactly apologize with words, although wouldn't that be amazing, they can use their barks and whines to communicate their remorse. Instead of those playful, high-pitched barks, listen for soft, almost apologetic whines. It's like they're saying, I know you're upset and I feel bad, please don't be mad at me. They might even let out a gentle bark or two, but it won't be their usual attention-grabbing bark. It'll be more subdued, almost hesitant, like they're testing the waters to see if you're still mad. Licking and nuzzling, the canine kiss and makeup. Alright, let's be real. Dogs are basically professional cuddlers. It's in their DNA. But when they break out the big guns, the licking and nuzzling, you know they're trying to make things right. It's like their version of a kiss and make up. They might lick your hand, nuzzle your leg, or even try to bury their head under your arm. And you know what? It totally works. There's something about those wet, sloppy kisses and those furry little nudges that just melts your heart and makes it impossible to stay mad. It's like they know exactly how to push our buttons. And honestly, I'm not even mad about it. The paw offer, can we be friends again? Okay, this next sign is subtle, but it's super sweet. Have you ever noticed that after your dog does something wrong, they might gently lift their paw and place it on your hand or leg? It's not a demanding paw like they're asking for something. It's more of a tentative, can we be friends again kind of paw. It's like they're trying to make physical contact to bridge the gap that their little oopsie might have created. And honestly, it's hard not to melt when you see that little paw reaching out for you. It's like they're saying, I know I messed up, but I still love you. Can we please go back to being best friends? Okay, this next sign might seem a little counterintuitive, but it's actually a super common way for dogs to show remorse. Instead of showering you with affection, some dogs will actually retreat to a safe space when they know they've done something wrong. You might find them hiding under the bed, curled up in a corner, or even slinking behind the furniture. They're not necessarily trying to avoid you, they're just trying to avoid your anger. They sense your displeasure, and they're trying to de-escalate the situation by removing themselves from it. It's like they're saying, I know you're mad, and I don't want to make it worse. I'll just be over here in my shame corner until you're ready to talk. Okay, you might be surprised to learn that yawning isn't always a sign of tiredness. In fact, it can be a powerful communication tool for dogs, especially when they're feeling stressed or anxious. If your dog starts yawning excessively after a mishap, it could be their way of trying to calm themselves down and de-escalate the situation. Yawning helps release tension, and it can also be a way for dogs to signal to others that they're not a threat. So, if your dog is yawning up a storm after they've chewed up your favorite shoe, don't just assume they're tired. They might be trying to tell you, I'm stressed, you're stressed. Let's just all take a deep breath and relax. Okay, this last sign is less about a specific action and more about a general change in behavior. If your dog seems extra well behaved after a mishap, it could be their way of trying to make amends. They might be extra cuddly, extra obedient, or they might just go out of their way to avoid doing anything that could upset you. It's like they're saying, look, I messed up, but I'm going to be on my best behavior from now on. Please forgive me. And honestly, who can resist that kind of effort? It's like they're trying to earn back your trust and affection, and it's honestly one of the most endearing things about dogs. So there you have it, 12 adorable signs your dog is saying sorry. Remember, dogs are incredibly intuitive creatures, and they're always trying to communicate with us, even if it's not always in words. By paying attention to their body language, their vocalizations, and their overall behavior, you can learn to decode their secret language and build a deeper, more meaningful bond with your furry best friend. And here's that bonus tip I promised. When your dog apologizes, focus on staying calm and redirecting them to positive behavior. A gentle, "It's okay, buddy," and a quick cuddle can work wonders. Remember, it's all about communication and understanding. If you found these insights helpful, you'll love our next video. 14 incredible things your dog can see and hear that you can't. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your experiences in the comments below. And remember, a happy dog leads to a happy life.